Hi! The Finals is my favorite game at the moment. As it stands at the moment, I have 1,600 hours on the Finals. When I get a minute to myself, it's still the thing I want to do the most. My bread and butter, as we all know, was the sword. Since day one, through thick and thin, and recently, it's only been thin, I've been a sword main. However, recently, the sword has been the most recent and, in my opinion, severe victim of a pattern of extreme and unexpected changes pushed in by the Finals. And for this one in particular, I can't get away from feeling like there's been a thumb put on the scale. Embark themselves swear that the patches are only driven by internal data, but customer feedback is a data point that they collect. And when influence is currency, masses can be manipulated. I will now provide you with the evidence I have, which in my opinion is littered with inconsistencies and coincidences. I will first, however, take a moment to admit that I am human and we're wired to see patterns, even where they don't exist, and especially when we are incentivized to see them. For me, it's easier to see that these changes directly impact me and my enjoyment are unjust. So I will present the evidence fairly and in full, though perhaps not dispassionately. The second thing which to understand is that there has been a persistent hatred for Sword for the lifespan of the game. However, in my opinion, there has never been a consistent reason as to why. On the 27th or the 28th of March, depending on your local time, the following post was made in a Discord belonging to the YouTuber Apo. The rumor, which I do have testimony backing, is that Apo played a particularly frustrating game live on stream and had a gamer moment.
What a fucking...
Whoa, not that kind of gamer moment. Yes, much better. On the 10th of April, the world changed forever, again, when update 6.3 came in. It read, weapon balance, sword. Decreased secondary attack from 140 to 105, a 25% reduction in damage. This would be the only patch taking place that day. The last time a weapon was adjusted was 2 weeks prior on March 26, a patch which adjusted 2 of the new weapons in the game, which were widely considered to be struggling. The fact that the sword nerf exists as an island between banal changes, all of which follow a major gameplay rebalancing at the turn of the season, which did not address the sword at all, makes this change feel surgical and intentional, like a hotfix, which I would expect would therefore come with some justification. Well, we're in luck, because in the patch notes for 6.3, the devs would give their explanation as to why. The sword has increasingly become a source of frustration for a lot of players, especially light players, who feel its one-shot potential, when combined with quick melee, is too oppressive. Over time, we've been trying to reduce the potential for one-shots in a lot of places in the game, and we feel it's time to address that here. We believe that the sudden rise in frustration with sword is also particularly due to the removal of stun gun, which was many light players' answer to the fast lunging sword user in the past. This change removes the essentially one-shot potential of sword. Well, they make an excellent point, these devs. Veteran players will remember that light could be one-shot by all manner of explosions. So luckily, they've removed the final one-shot ability from the game. Now, if I really wanted to get pedantic, a light attack from Sledge, a body shot from the sniper, a body shot from the bow, the matter shotgun, a headshot with a revolver will all put the light to enough damage where they can be one shot with a quick melee, giving them equal, if not faster TTK than sword before the patch. I'm sure we're all very excited to see all these weapons getting their damage reduced by 25%. To address the second part of the statement, I will now give a list of things that counter sword: flamethrower, glitch mines, gas mines, placing and then playing anywhere near a sentry, being a heavy, the Cerberus, the minigun, the winch claw, the lock bolt, still charge and slam, dash and grapple with any gun is a great counter to sword. The only thing sword really deals with pretty consistently is invis, and even then, for some reason, I feel like I have a lot of trouble hitting invis lights. But that just could be me. On April 9th, I released my video, They Actually Did It Again. My rant reacting to the update. Coming from this spawns my next 2 pieces of evidence. Directly replying to my video was Apo, who left this comment. Now, just for some clarification, as there is clearly some frustration, this original post was a joke. I did clarify right after this patch in the screenshot that it was a joke, but nobody screenshotted the entire message, only the first part. I do want to see some bug fixes such as hit detection and phantom strike, as those changes are what I had asked the devs for directly. But this was more in line with simple bug reporting, as I bug report where I can. Another note is the developers had already decided on a sword nerf before I ever made this post. I further got clarification from the devs asking if sword nerf was my doing. They said no, they were already going to do it because of weapon data they have, along with it being one of the biggest complaints from the community for a long time. The decision was made before me saying anything. It's unfortunate the timing, but yeah. Hope this clears some stuff up for you guys. I know seeing one screenshot like this is all most people need to jump on the bandwagon and make a ton of assumptions, but the reality is quite different. Around this time, I also received the information that I alluded to earlier, someone claiming to be Apo's blade-wielding nemesis, who spurred this original Discord call to action. But that's up for debate. I'm not too sure if that's true. My final piece of evidence is a message I directly received from Embark when I asked them, hey, what's the go with Apo? I sent them the comment and I sent them the original Discord post to say what the go was. This is what I received. Hey friend, thank you for reaching out. Indeed, their comments or behavior have not influenced any recent changes, nor does any single creator have this power, as mentioned by Oscar in our server. We are also aware of this joke, and we kept monitoring throughout the period, even before the nerf was publicly released. Please note changes and balancing are often locked in weeks in advance and are always performed due to internal data only Embark has. i.e., even as something is perceived as strong, if its win rate in-game is extremely low, which can happen, nerfs might not come at the right time, or even a rework can be put in place. I have a big problem with this message. I'm glad to hear that Apo doesn't have Embark's ear and can just end a weapon when he wants. But I'm not alleging some sort of Illuminati conspiracy at the moment. I'm only showing the evidence that I have today, which has all happened in public view. What I think may have happened is that Apo provided a template to the community of as many 1,300 finals players to complain in a consistent way to Embark about sword. Now, because of this, they would be consistent and way more frequent, at least for a short time, which might have prompted a quick and poorly reasoned response. Now, the Embark moderator also claimed that there's no way Apo's post made an impact to the patch because it was decided weeks in advance. However, as you can see from my timeline, his comments were made 2 weeks earlier. It's tight, but it's not impossible. And again, I think the changes were rushed. Returning to Apo's response, he claims that his comment was part of a larger joke, and further context would illuminate us all. However, the original comment and the surrounding comments have since been deleted. I have searched for these comments and the only evidence I have found is in this Reddit comment. I just love how people fall for rage bait. He sent another announcement after that comment, like a couple hours, saying that should be enough time to cause some chaos. Something along these lines. I wish he kept both comments up, but it seems they've been deleted. It was a clear troll post and people got rage baited into it. I ain't Glazer writing him, I'm in his disc, but maybe said a few comments, that's it. Reddit never fails to entertain me with dumb people. Now, if I take this message at face value, chaos doesn't translate to me as very funny, happy, goofy time. But in the context, it more reads as drama or controversy. To me, this reads as, thank you for giving your feedback, let's ease off for now. I feel it is also a point against them that these posts weren't made in the general chat. He added everyone in his announcements. If I add everyone in my Discord, it is a call to action. Now, I rarely do it, sometimes for a stream, sometimes for a video, but most of the time I just post it in the channel that it meant to go. I don't add everyone, I let people gander when they want to gander. But maybe he has a consistent pattern of adding everyone with his jokes, but I wouldn't accuse him of being so insecure. My theory is that Discord has a strict policy against brigading, which is inciting your community to harass or otherwise negatively attack another community. So the narrative that makes the most sense to me is that he makes the post, someone contacts him, says that if he does this, he could get banned and his channel could get banned. He then realizes that his comment could be described as brigading, and now he's on damage control so his channel doesn't get terminated. I have no direct or circumstantial evidence of this narrative other than the lack of refuting evidence. I could have my mind very easily changed. If anyone can provide a comment of Apo within a reasonable time frame along the lines of lol, it was just a prank or something along those lines, I'd be fine with it. Now let me state, I don't think anyone is lying. If I take into account that player feedback is recorded and therefore used as an internal data point, the statements from Embark are accurate. They received an uptick in player feedback and therefore had a justification to push the nerf. For Apo, his original intention was certainly to encourage his community to make a stink about Sword. He may not have meant for it to reach the devs necessarily, and almost certainly didn't want the toxicity to spread into other communities. None of this, however, is a joke. All claims made by all parties that the change was already in the works ring hollow to me. No one has attempted to provide any evidence other than, trust me bro, and the timelines I find lacking. If 1 week and 6 days is not weeks to you, that's fine. But if someone told me that they had their last shower weeks ago, but it was actually 1 week and 6 days ago, I'd be equally disgusted. So I apply similar logic here. In his comment, Apo did clarify the changes he would actually like for Sword, that being getting rid of the Phantom Strike. So, in the same spirit, and to end on a more positive note, I'm going to do the same. So after playing with the post-nerf Sword, there's a few things that I find troubling with it. I do think Sword needs its one-shot ability on Light specifically, but I think we need to reduce the damage to 124, making it so you still need the quick melee and medium on the double lunge, but also making it so that you can 3 lunge a heavy. But if we don't think that's good enough, I think maybe remove multi-hit from lunge. Keep it on the left click, but remove it from lunge and give 140 damage back to the Sword. And I've always been anti-Phantom Strike. In all my tutorials, I've never given any hint of how to do Phantom Strike. And I even specify that I won't be showing the Phantom Strike combo. Until my most recent tutorial, I've purposely not done this to stop the spread of the Phantom Strike. Until the newest nerf came out, and then I tried to abuse it. But I also learned that Phantom Strike is super wildly inconsistent. It's sometimes server-based. How you died. I honestly could not tell you what actively activates the Phantom Strike. To me, it feels random, and I don't bother with it, even when I'm playing Sword. There's also been evidence throughout all my videos where I make fun of people using the Phantom Strike because I don't think you need it. But yeah, I mean, those are some suggestions I can give for the Sword on how to make it better. Like I've said in the past, I don't think Sword was ever a problem. Even before the Sword nerf, I was actually using it a lot less. It was definitely a go-to whenever I was bored and wanted some movement. But honestly, there's just so many Sword counters at the moment. It just felt way too oppressive to even use it anymore. So I didn't even bother. I swapped to bow. I was using sniper for a bit. Heck, I was even playing medium revolver. I've been doing anything other than Sword recently, especially now. It's just basically impossible to use. They may as well have disabled it like they did the stun gun. I understand they can't really do that because people have put money into the Sword. Also, there probably would have been a way bigger stink about the Sword being removed from the game for 2 weeks or 3 weeks or however many weeks it's going to be until this thing is fixed. But yeah, that's me, boys. Make sure you subscribe, like for more content. If they fix it, definitely going to make another video on that, on my thoughts on how they fixed it, or any sort of nerf or patch to the Sword. I will bring up those two. But I'm going to love you and leave you there. Love you, boys. And I will see you in the finals.